Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And thank you for joining us on Unhindered Faith on this Motivational Monday. Let me start off with this question. Have you ever asked yourself, who should I model leadership after? Who should I model leadership after? I constantly think about that. I look at other people, whether if it's in as a basketball referee, who I should look at and model how I approach refereeing, to being a pastor, to being just a leader. Even in the education and being in education right now, I think about just those things. Who should I look at and model my leadership after? And John Maxwell actually just came out with a book, Jesus, the High Road Leader. This is a follow-up to his other book, The High Road Leader. And it's one of those, if we are to think about who we should model our leadership after, Jesus is the perfect example of that. In fact, if we look at Jesus himself, Jesus led his people, a variety of backgrounds, different personalities, and he led them well. He was the ultimate model of how we should approach leadership. Whether you believe in Jesus as the Son of God or not, for me, my faith drives me to want to model the leadership of Jesus. And in that, I think about in this book, in chapter 1, John Maxwell points out that there's three kinds of leaders. There's the low road leader. These are the ones that people are selfish in their leadership. They will tend to step on others to build themselves up and get into a higher position. It doesn't matter who they walk on or who they are looking to step on to elevate themselves. They will never take blame for mistakes. They always point fingers at others. And then there's also the middle road leader. The middle road leader are people on this road focuses on fairness and they often keep score. So when we think about that, a lot of us tend to lean more towards the middle road, that we don't want to offend. Everybody has to play fair. Everybody gets a participation medal, all those different things. But I think about, and what John points out in his book, Jesus, the High Road Leader, is that Jesus is the high road leader. And this is the rare leadership style. In fact, we don't see a lot of this today. As we are coming off of a political year or season of election year, we tend to start looking at how people will point fingers at other people's mistakes. They tend to step on one another. Very rarely will you find someone in leadership today that is that high road leader. And this is something that Jesus strives for all of us to be. In fact, in Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, it says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourself. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You see, the high road leader will always look at others and trying to see, how can I elevate other people? In other words, as I grow, how can others around me grow with me? I look at in basketball officiating right now. We're in the middle of the season, and one of the things that I look at, my experience in the training that I have received from my mentors as a basketball official, is how can I pour into the next generation? How can I raise up? Because my body's not going to hold out in officiating forever. And Jesus is that perfect model of understanding that even though Jesus, in my faith, and understanding that Jesus is alive and he was risen from the dead, but Jesus's model is, how can he pour into others, his 12 disciples, so that they can pour into others and pour into others and pour into others, and so on and so on and so on. And it was always looking out for those around them. Jesus, in fact, I just spoke at a church and talked about how Jesus in the Passover supper, Jesus included all the different varieties of disciples. But what he really pointed out was that everybody is welcome to the banquet. In fact, earlier in a parable that he told in one of his teachings was the parable of the great banquet. And in this parable was about a ruler, a well-known person that invited all of his friends to his banquet and that he provided. And one by one, all of his friends came back with an excuse why they could not come. One was saying, I just bought land, I need to go check it out. Another one said, I just bought a bunch of oxen, I need to go test them out. Another person said, I just got married, sorry, can't go. And so one by one, there was all these excuses, and it really irritated the one who hosted the banquet. He said, if these were my friends and they told me no, you know what? We're still gonna throw a party. In fact, go out, and he sent all of his workers, go out into the streets and invite everybody that you see. And so they went out and they invited all the ones that aren't accepted in society, the crippled, the disabled, the down and outs, and all these people started coming. And the host of the banquet said, you know what? I still have room. Go out into the streets and the alleyways and still find more people. And so he continued to invite more and more people. I just want to encourage you on this Monday. Think about those that are around you and how are you pouring into others and helping them grow in their walk, in their leadership, in their personal growth, in their faith journey. And then who is out there that maybe doesn't have somebody to pour into. Just recently, I have a friend, and this friend said that they don't have a mentor, but they have 6 or 7 people that they go to when they have questions. So I was like, well, you do have mentors. And it was just one of those just not understanding what a mentor is. So who is it that is pouring into your life that you constantly go to? Maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's somebody that's been in your life, maybe it's your parents. Whoever it is, make sure that they understand the value that they have in your life. The other thing is who around you needs you. And don't put yourself down and thinking, man, nobody needs me. No, somebody is in your life right now that needs you and needs your advice, that needs your example of living a high road leader's life. So this year in 2025, I encourage you to take on the challenge. Can you model your life, your leadership style after one of the greatest leaders that have ever walked on this earth, and that is Jesus? I encourage you in this, if you haven't checked out this book, Jesus, the High Road Leader, I encourage you to do that. Also check out John Maxwell's other book, The High Road Leader. And it will change how you look at yourself and how you approach other people. But make sure that you check those out. And I hope that you have a great week. And we will see you next Monday.